afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us for 13 News at 4. I'm Felicia Lawrence.
I'm Dustin Grove. On this Giving Tuesday, we're going to get to all the goodwill and giving out there over the next hour, but we do want to start at 4 o'clock at the State House. Happening right now, all eyes on lawmakers as they get an earful from the public on redistricting.
So lawmakers are weighing whether to redraw the congressional maps to try and pick up a few Republican seats in Congress next year. 13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker is here to explain what the people are saying. Emily.
Well, Felicia and Dustin, a few dozen people testified over 3 hours today on redistricting. Some were everyday Hoosiers, some folks were connected to voting rights groups, others were lawmakers. Even former Republican Lieutenant Governor Sue Ellspermann testified today. She told the committee that Hoosiers do not want redistricting, and she said the maps that they have right now are fair. In the end, more people testified to the committee that they were against redistricting than were for it. The morning started out with the bill's author, Republican State Representative Ben Smaltz, explaining the bill to the House's Election and Apportionment Committee. Then several of Smaltz's Democratic colleagues on the committee questioned him about the bill and the proposed map. They voiced several concerns with their questions, among them the timeline for considering redistricting. Democrats said the process was too rushed. They argued that before the current map was created, Hoosiers had the chance to testify at 9 different public hearings across the state over several months. Democrats also questioned how the proposed map divides Marion County among 4 different congressional districts, asking Smaltz if he'd considered how this would impact the voting power of Black Hoosiers. Democratic State Representative Robin Shackelford testified about what she believed the impact would be.
These maps crack apart historic Black neighborhoods, weakening our voting power and silencing the voices of the very people who are already fighting the hardest for economic stability, safer streets, better schools, and access to affordable health care.
Smaltz said the new map was drawn after lawmakers studied data from the last 3 presidential elections and consulted with a national redistricting group in Washington, D.C. He said the goal of the new map had one consideration in mind, giving Republicans a political advantage. Smaltz said he spoke with the president and vice president about redistricting and said he did not feel pressured to support the effort, but came to support it on his own. He was asked about some of the president's recent social media posts calling out lawmakers who didn't support redistricting and the threats some faced afterwards. Smaltz characterized some of the current environment as political pressure, saying he's also faced threats as the bill's author.
With yesterday, because I support this, I was threatened to have my family killed in front of me, whereafter I would be killed. That isn't going to change my mind. It's political pressure. And it's part of what we've run for these. We know that is going to happen.
Now, after the testimony over 3 hours, Democrats offered several amendments to this bill. All of them were defeated. The redistricting bill ultimately passed out of the committee this afternoon by a vote of 8-5. It was along party lines. It now has to sit for 48 hours before it can head to the full House on something called second read. And that's when all of the lawmakers in the House will be able to offer changes, amendments, if they want to. House Speaker Todd Huston has said he would like to have a vote on this bill by everyone in the House on Friday afternoon. So that is his goal. Now, coming up tonight at 5, we're going to hear from Congressman Andre Carson, who represents the 7th District, on how he thinks this bill would impact the folks he serves. Felicia, Dustin?
All right, Emily Longnecker reporting live from the State House. Thank you so much.
Okay, so when you look at the newly proposed congressional map, you see it basically splits up the Democratic stronghold of Marion County into 4 separate districts. Each of those districts would include more Republican territory in other counties. So where within Indianapolis would those lines be drawn? How would neighborhoods be affected? Our Jenna Webster is breaking those boundaries down. She's going to have that part of the story coming up for you at 5 and 6.
Thanks, Dustin. And in the midst of the redistricting battle, police are investigating another threat against an Indiana lawmaker. It happened just this morning, and this marks at least 11 Republican lawmakers targeted by threats in recent weeks. Samantha Johnson is here now with a look at what happened.
This was a pretty scary situation here. This started with an anonymous email claiming pipe bombs were waiting at the former home of State Senator Ron Alting. He represents Carroll County and parts of Tippecanoe County. Police showed up at that home this morning only to find out the whole thing was a hoax meant to cause fear, according to the state senator. He shared a statement with us, reading in part, quote, "Hoosiers can disagree strongly on policy, but we cannot allow threatening hoaxes or fear-based intimidation to become part of our public life." Keep in mind, this was the old home of the state senator. He doesn't even live there anymore. Thankfully, the family who does was not hurt. But this is just the latest threat against Indiana lawmakers. Another came just last week against Republican State Senator Mike Bohacek up north. He vowed to vote against redistricting after President Trump used a slur to describe people with intellectual disabilities. Bohacek has a daughter with Down syndrome, and this morning he shared this message on CNN. Take a listen.
You can't validate slurs like that and rhetoric like that, because how do we expect our children to not use terms like this, to be respectful of each other, when the most powerful person in the world is using them?
Now, as for State Senator Alting, Indiana State Police, they are now investigating what happened this morning in Tippecanoe County. I did talk to the sheriff up there about the quick response this morning and about how they were able to protect an innocent family who had nothing to do with any of this. You will hear from him coming up tonight on 13 News at 5.
And again, you said this is at least the 11th lawmaker to get some sort of threat in the last couple of weeks.
It feels out of control,
Yeah.
and it wasn't even that lawmaker.
And these are lawmakers on both sides of the issue on redistricting, too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Okay, to the weather impact now, and a live look downtown Indianapolis on a cold day out there. Still got some snow on the ground.
Yet?
Not yet, but we're
It's not
close.
winter
Well,
yet?
meteorological winter
right,
started on
right,
December 1st. Yeah, so we're.
I tell you,
we're in it.
it's crazy to hear people's responses to the snow, right? Sean and I this morning are like, isn't it beautiful? Doesn't it just bring joy to your heart? And Felicia over here is rolling her eyes.
This is what I have to work with every day. I got to deal with this day in and day out.
Yes.
As long as you can get to where you're going.
No.
You had your real muggy summer, and you had all that good
right.
stuff, back a few months ago.
Enjoy it.
And you all benefited. What do I get?
A sled. I'm getting you a sled.
Yes, please bring the sled
All
to
right.
work. I need
Well, you got this snow is not going anywhere. I'm going to tell you that here. I do want to get you prepared. Here's the bottom line. The next 3 mornings for various types of weather, we could have impacts on roads, impact to schools. Okay, so right now though, compared to 24 hours ago, a little tamer. 24 west-northwest wind providing a little bit of a wind chill. The radar is quiet right now. We have all kinds of cloud cover. And that was pretty much evident most of the day. Now, not all modeling, but some modeling suggesting that this low-level moisture that's over us will reach toward the ground level overnight tonight. And as that happens, there could be some pockets of dense fog. And if it's dense enough, what could happen is that moisture, those droplets, will freeze on contact to the sub-freezing surfaces, the roads and the sidewalks and bridges and overpasses, to the point that it could cause some slick spots tomorrow morning that we want you to be prepared for. It's not a given, but you need to follow the forecast. School delays in some locations are possible. Also, we are dealing with an accident. This is 70 westbound, where they've closed a couple of the lanes here. Westbound traffic, this is 2 miles east of Spiceland, and you can see the backup that's building there. So if you have any friends that are east of this location that typically use it, give them a heads up. And how about this map? We've got a couple accidents. We'll check on this, but oh boy, 24 hours ago, this was pretty much red. That's not the case today. We'll let you know about those other impacts and a cold 7-day forecast ahead in a few minutes.
All right, what a difference a day makes, Sean. Thank you. This is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, which has become known around the world as Giving Tuesday, a day to donate either money to charity, or maybe it's giving your time to a nonprofit like a food pantry or a homeless shelter. An estimated 36 million people took part in Giving Tuesday across this country last year. Nearly half of them said they donated money.
Kelly Clarkson is highlighting an Indy-based nonprofit this Giving Tuesday. She's helping home repairs for good, and she's helping them expand their reach as they work to cover repairs for seniors.
We launched our Fix It Forward campaign, which is specifically for monthly donors, where they can provide a small donation that can go to things like water heaters, HVACs, grab bars for reducing falls, but it lets us sort of pre-plan and be able to meet the need as soon as it happens.
Yeah.
On average, we're spending about $1,500 per home, and that's usually about 2 to 3 repairs for homeowner each year. We come back. We understand that as the homeowner ages, so too does their home, and we want to be their age-in-place partner as they age. A $5 gift could cover safety gear for volunteers or go towards gutter supplies. $1,000 can go towards a new water heater for somebody.
So not only did Kelly and her partner Pilot Pen give a $1,000 gift to Home Repairs for Good, Kelly had another big surprise for Rachel and her team.
I am so moved by what y'all do. I love it so much. So I'm going to pitch in $10,000 because I think it's incredible what you're doing. Such a necessity for people.
Ooh, okay.
Isn't that nice?
That's awesome.
I mean, you know, things can get tough as you age, and so clearly this program is geared towards seniors. You know, things just kind of break around the house, and if you're on a tight budget, it just makes sense that you would need some support like this.
That could go a long way.
Yeah, there's more on this story right now on WTHR.com. But you know, the heater goes out, or the toilet is broken, or the sink is leaking, and all of this impacts your quality of life. It impacts your dignity, the dignity that you have as a senior. And so,
And that's just
kudos.
one. I mean, there's so much need out there for all these organizations that are doing good. It's great to see everybody chipping in and giving back today.
And it's here. It's